What are we talking about today? Oh yeah, Orktober.
Warbosses of Da ApORKalypse! Ladies and gentlemen, the Warbosses of Da ApORKalypse.
Greetings, boys and gits, and welcome to the Warbosses of Da ApORKalypse. In today's episode, we're going to be having a little recap over some of the October releases, giving you our thoughts on them, and we're going to be going over some of them Q&A questions that we missed last time. So before we get started, I'm going to introduce my other co-hosts. We have, to my left, Dim. Say hello, Dim.
Hello, Dim.
I can actually get this right now because I can see all of you on the screen. Down here, we have Mr. Six Plus Stevo. Say hello,
See,
Stevo.
I'm up in the other corner. Do you know what, mate? I always think to do this, and it never pans out because it's different on everyone's thing. We're all in different positions. So you never know, though. You might get lucky, mate. You might get lucky. But I always think it's funny.
He's on there somewhere around there, mostly, probably, if I'm right.
On my screen, I'm up here and you're down there, but whatever. How he is? What's the crack?
I always think it's funny when we start the show because we come in, obviously, Nirvani's awesome intro music is played. It's got the crowd hyped, pumped, and it cuts in. There's one of us saying hello and that, and the other three just sitting there politely, like, hello. You know, it's the most un-orky start ever. We come off this banging, rocking track, and then we're just like, nice to meet you.
I'll tell you what, then we should commit to always starting with
It could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be worse. It could be all of that sort of rock metal music, and then be like, hello. Right. And I'd like to talk to you about the world of trains. Like, there's always worse.
Just well, we're talking about orcs. We're not far above the train. That's if we are even above them. We might be below.
No, this is it's like no, because this is like
on the ladder. That's it.
This is like the model train in the Addams Family, though. That's the orky level.
Cool.
It's still, though, at least we've got Dread hosting, so what could go wrong?
I'm hosting, you said you were hosting. I just had to say hello.
Oh yeah, it's fair enough.
Well, I've got the notes, so he can't do all of it.
Well.
Before we get
sounds like a democracy almost.
What's one of them? No.
Not round these parts.
Yeah, fucking.
We got into enough bother last time. Before we get into it, though, I'd like to have a little rant, just a tiny one, because you know how I've kind of taken it upon myself to correct people's issues with the law, and one of the things that I tend to pounce on quite a lot is when people say Gretchens rather than Gretchen.
Sheeps.
And I was just minding my own business.
They should be saying goblins.
Flicking through my copy of the Rogue Trader rulebook, and what do I see but... What is that?
I think someone just sunk your battleship, Tim.
The fuckers were right all along.
I think that just proves it don't really matter. Because
no, it sounds better when
it say that.
Yeah, but you can't do apply logical sense to 40k lore. It's like it doesn't work.
Anything in orc, you put a S or a Z on the end of it for the plural. It's not written down in law as to which one it is, really.
I know, that's fucking annoying in the codex. Like, some things have with a Z on the end, and other things with an S on the end. And it's like, just put all Zs on the end.
That's how you know you've got a living language, because there's no rules.
Yeah.
Languages that have fixed rules are dead.
I just thought it was funny when Dread's saying to Dim, it doesn't really matter. I'm like, don't set him off.
Yes, it does. Anyway, hello.
So what's the order of business? Are we cracking open presents, or are we doing other stuff first, or what?
Should we crack these up? We've waited long enough.
Presents.
Yes, months. I've been sitting on this fucking thing for months.
Same.
I have no idea what's inside of
And
it.
then
Does
Red.
the order? Oh no,
We
that's called doing a
Honestly,
brack.
seriously,
That's doing a brack.
We didn't think.
See what I mean? This is, look, I thought ahead. No label here.
Yeah, I've cut the dresses off. I
Cut the dresses off.
Cut the dresses
Where's
off.
yours, Dread? Huh?
Ray. It took so long, the postman stole it. No, I did get it eventually. It turned up, along with a bunch of other Christmassy posts. So I opened it, and I
So these are from Orktober. And
yes.
we were just
And
waiting
I
for.
Who are these from?
I only just got mine like a few days before
This is from
December
Kyle's
started.
Gibbs.
Gear Guts.
Yeah.
Kyle
In-
sent us these.
in
But
the
no
dark
idea what's
of
inside.
Regular viewers might remember that it was Mr. Gearguts who designed our respective Warboss miniatures that you can now purchase on his store.
One
Link
of
in the
which is
description
fully
below. But there, yeah. Another of which is built.
Oh, still don't look as good as my one.
Another of which is built.
Mine ain't even got paint on yet. It's still the best one.
Sure. All right, so we'll crack it open and see what it is.
By the way, Steve, right? You're watching, right? You know, you cut carefully.
Away.
colour.
Oh, whoa! Put that down, mate. Where's your
I'll be
Play-Doh
fine.
knife? Where's your Play-Doh knife gone?
You played out
Don't allow
scissors. Ah, the sounds of opening packages live. Yay. Well, not live. Recorded. Yeah. Right, so it's oh, there's a big base.
It's a big base.
Big base.
Mine's actually a Games Workshop base, actually, as it goes.
Yeah, mine's a Games Workshop base. It's a big one.
2013.
Ah, I know what this is. Yeah.
Oh, bits.
Yeah.
There's bits
This is
everywhere.
This is a dead giveaway. This is a dead giveaway.
Bits.
Got like bits of cloth.
Bits. Oh, actually, there are. Oh, yeah, there's a few small bits, yeah. Mostly big.
We all
chunk.
got the same thing.
Big shoulder pad.
I believe so.
A power claw with a Primaris skill.
Yeah.
Base marine.
Ooh, hold on. Jesus, whip.
So, well, not our claw.
So I was gonna say this will be what Gear Guts Mark
Ah, hello.
6, I think
Whoa,
it is.
How many fucking claws has he got?
Is it me?
Hello.
We all got the same by the
What are you
sound of it.
looking for?
Got very similar head. Very similar head.
Hey.
Similar.
Yeah, I think so. I think we have the.
That's
Yeah,
so
look at him
fucking me.
getting messed up. I like it.
What's the crack with these bits? Do you think they're for the jaw? They come on the side of the body, do you think, like that? But then,
Oh yeah, they're for the
Yeah.
jaw plate. Yeah.
yeah, but then there's
Yeah, I
gaps-
reckon.
You attach
there's
it to the
gaps in
arm.
between them.
Yeah, attach it to the
Fella,
arm,
fella.
and then it'll.
Yeah, but do the other
Check
ones.
that out, guys.
Do the other one.
It's one big fucking ass Warboss. Like, really fucking big.
Yeah, so there's a gap probably. So then there's probably.
Fuck me.
Oh, you've got a gap too, right? It's not just me. Cool.
He's basically a giant Warboss that is Death Dread sized.
He's a
I'm
big-
holding as many bits together there as I can without it all falling apart in my hands. Just but look at the
Oh, wow,
fucking
you took great effort.
size of that bastard.
Yeah. Well, got a fucking good on there.
Whoa. Gear
I'm
Guts,
afraid to
thank
hold
you
that
very
many
much,
parts
my
together,
man.
So if they drop, they're going to hit the hard floor and break. So I'm like, no.
Boom.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
basically,
sweet,
to
man.
give you an idea of the scale, that's the legs. That is my Hobbygate model. The legs and torso are as tall as the Warboss that
And
Cal made
of
for me.
which the Warbosses that he's made of us are pretty fucking big.
And they're already bigger.
They
Yeah.
are big,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is basically
no.
a
Mine
Primarch.
against mine.
This is
Death Dread.
Oh yeah,
Just the
definitely.
torso. So
the beast, isn't it? It's the beast.
gear guts. Pew pew. So it's a big
So-
boy.
Gear
Thanks,
Guts
gear
Mark
guts. Cheers, Kyle. Thank you. This is
All
cool,
right,
man.
It's very cool, mate. He's got some nice little details on here, stitching in the head and everything. And
Face looks very cool. I really do like the
yeah,
face.
it's very cool. I like his big leering face on his like belt, his pelt. That's cool. Yeah, very cool stuff.
Oh, what's that get designed? It was quite. It's quite fun watching Cal work. He's quick.
Oh,
Worries me
he's got
sometimes.
matrix connections on his elbow. Look.
Mr. Gear Guts, that is an awesome Orktober present. Sorry it was
Oh,
late.
yeah,
That was mine and Dred's fault, or our postman's fault for doing God knows what with it for so long. We were supposed to have opened these in quite a while ago. Yeah.
In the totally not disastrous October episode.
In fact, it got to the point, viewers, where myself and Dred had actually given up and just assumed they've got lost in the post. We will never see them. And then,
ye of little fate.
And then they just turned up out of the blue.
Out of the warp. Yeah, cool. Sweet. Nice.
And apologies, Gear Guts, for Mr. Dred opening it. He's one of them kids that always slid out the tray in his advent calendar. Had all them, you know, nothing left.
No, I'm not.
I was using it in past tense, but you're talking in the current, which means you still do.
I've got a Where's Wally chocolate advent calendar, actually. I picked it myself as well. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want that.
For the Americans, that's Where's Waldo.
Yeah.
I didn't even bother looking for him yet. I thought, no, I'll wait till Advent. I'm going to save the excitement.
I was looking at maybe getting a Lego one, and then I was like, yeah, no, effort.
Do you know, also, there's some really good ones. I was looking for the girlfriends don't want chocolate. So I was like, they do a nice one with herbal teas. And another one I thought would be good for her would be cheese, but then you need to keep it refrigerated. So I was like, geez, it's all a lot of pain in the bum. And the tea one was like, look cool, but then really it was just a bunch of marketing. So I was like, I won't tell you the company.
Maybe like an Orky Bits advent calendar would be cool. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd have like a gun and like choppers.
Warboss in an advent calendar. By the end, you get all the bits to make a Warboss.
You know, you'd open one day and it's like a power claw or something, or you know, you're slow. The closer up to Orksmas you get, you know, you'll get like legs for the Warboss, and then like it's power claw, and then finally like, you know,
third-party companies.
Also, Dred talking then about where's
a cardboard advent calendar with little windows for each day of the advent, with a little walkie treat behind each one. Oh my God! I'll buy one for myself, one for prosperity, one for everyone I know that should get into Orcs. Yeah. I like that idea.
You're talking about Where's Wally and Where's Waldo. They need to do a Where's the Warboss. Just a big scene. That'd be a cool book.
I'm back now. Don't worry. I've only been gone a while. Like, I'm back.
I look for a Where's the Warboss book. Like,
I mean, there's been a Where's the Wookiee book, so why not?
Just a 40k one would be cool, wouldn't it? Just a 40k, like fucking, yeah.
It's probably commission an artist to do it, yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Ooh. Exciting.
A plan is forming.
A plan is forming.
The topic of today.
Can you see the cogs? Can you see the stuff?
What's the plan? Let's keep this thing on track.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
So we're talking about October. 2 months late.
It's how we roll.
Nothing happens.
Almost like we totally didn't plan it. But yeah, we thought we'd talk a little bit about October, just as a concept, where it's come from, and then, you know, what it could mean in the future. Although, I mean, basically, it means more models every October. And then I've got a list of some of the releases that came out. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about some of our favorites. We're going to have a little bit of a chat about it, and then we figured we would do the second half of the Q&A afterwards. The one that got cut out because of rubbish audio. So we're going to redo the questions. We're not going to redo the questions that we answered. We're just going to that still in the.
Well, we are. We're just going to redo the ones they didn't hear.
Yeah.
We answered all the fuckers.
Yeah, we did answer them all.
And it's been really, so long, I've forgotten.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if the answers match up with the old ones.
You wouldn't know
well,
because you wouldn't be able to hear the old one.
No.
Yeah, I should probably explain this before we go on. We had a long chat about what we were going to do because the audio was utterly terrible, and that was even after I'd heavily edited it to try and make the sound even vaguely palatable. Because basically what happened is that all of the sound for the entire episode was taken from my headset picking up the sound from the microphone. So obviously the microphone picking up all the sound from my headset, other way around, because I'm not an idiot. I'm totally not an idiot. I totally didn't prove it. So obviously I was incredibly loud because it's my microphone, and they were incredibly quiet because this microphone was just picking up the sound from the headset. And that's all the audio we had to work with because there were no backups. There was just my backup, and my backup's audio was terrible. So I did what I could. So the fact that you could even hear those three at all, master editor, not master enough, but I almost made up for it.
You polished the living fuck out of that turd.
But we decided that it would just be best for everybody's sake and for everybody's eardrums, particularly, if we just cut it out using the YouTube software. So we just cut it out, left the theme tune, and we just figured we'd just do the questions again at some point when we got the time, and that time is now upon us. And we'll do that after we've done the Orktober feature. So Orktober had its origins in 2018, particularly, although the term itself is a lot older. We might talk about that a little bit, but probably not. But basically, there was a Warhammer community page, a community article, now infamous with a lot of Orc players, that ran with this paragraph, which was to celebrate the return of everybody's favorite greenskin warmongering barbaric Xenos this October. We've got an entire month's worth of exciting content for you to help you get into the mood for war. They lied. October is going to be awesome, so don't forget to check back each day to see what news and articles we have got for you, which was not much.
Yeah, but they
all of the hype,
didn't they?
Yeah.
Was that when Speed Freaks came out in November, was it?
Yeah, it was. It was when Speed Freaks came out.
But you could pre-order in October, so it was all right. Steve, I was like, not this shit again. Not this again.
I have that issue of the White Dwarf. It was like the first White Dwarf and the last White Dwarf I bought in a very, very long time. And it was just like, it was a very weird series of events. It was just strange business decisions. And just odd.
I can remember people
really odd
in the Orc community inventing the Orktober as an idea and wishing for it, longing for it, and that's what they jumped on. They literally realised that there was this longing for it, and they go, "Oh, well, they've done the marketing for us. All we have to do is just release stuff under this title, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt." And I think that's what they did.
They should have done that more. Because that's a great business idea.
They just opted for just Fanny, it seems.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely the terminology has been.
I need to see you next Tuesday about it.
Very long time. Games Workshop did not invent it, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, I was going to say the forum that three of us used to be on, the WAR forum, Orktober was a little event we had. Although I say that, we had like a monthly painting. There was Agatha, and there was one of the admin. He had a monthly painting challenge every month, and he orcified all of the monthly names. So it's not an original or anything like that. But the idea of it being kind of like an annual celebration was accidentally created by Games Workshop, because they started this whole idea of hype, and then they gave us 6 monopause buggies, which was probably the worst way you could have done it. In November, indeed. I was going to say we were in Warhammer World.
It was a special,
weren't we, when they came out?
Yeah. We had played our Apocalypse game, our Orc only Apocalypse game that October. That was the last one, yeah.
Yeah.
And
We were previewing the buggies
they,
then.
they were displaying the buggies in their glass display shelves, but you couldn't buy them yet. So it was like, all right.
And that was actually the year that I had the run-in with that salty Warhammer, the Warhammer World.
Here he's going to be banging on that bleeding drum
No,
again.
no.
It was an eventful year.
Good crack. Good crack.
But yeah,
What's Orktober though become in regards to the community though? It's
something much better.
Yeah, it's become a. I mean, as we're going to go into in a bit, because I know Tim's been preparing a cool list. There was quite a lot released this Orktober. Just not by Games Workshop, and there's you've got all those third-party companies doing that, but the community themselves, like us in the Discord, we've had things going on. We did November, didn't we? But we did stuff in October, and I don't know, on the community page and that, there's lots of people talking about how they're celebrating October and doing it. Just kind of, I don't know.
It's nice to have a festivity for us.
It's a cool thing, and it coincides with my birthday as well, so it's always cool.
Without going into anything, trying to sound anything too much like a GW bash, but you know, that is the issue, isn't it? Is that, you know, it's had to become a community thing. Other people and third parties have had to pick up the mantle because Games Workshop left us high and dry. They didn't really provide what they said they was going to provide the first time round, and so we haven't expected anything too much since. We've all been hoping, and you would have thought that with the community doing what they're doing and with third parties doing what they're doing, it might actually encourage them, but they.
It is funny. It's just that you'd think that they would say like, "Oh, I'm not going to," you know. It wouldn't have taken much to reshuffle things and get the stuff out in October. Just like if you've got Orc stuff coming up and it's falling around that period, just make the decision that we're going to aim to have this stuff by October. Maybe they did aim and it fucking got delayed or something, but I don't think so. I think they just didn't really think it through, and they thought that celebrating October by just letting us know this is coming. It's not, you know, you do that before, build up the hype towards October, and then on October launch a load of fucking new releases. But it wouldn't have to be every year. Even you do something every year, but yeah, it was odd. But yeah, it's cool that the community just celebrate it and do it. And the third-party companies have done what GW should do and jump on that bandwagon of there's all talk of October and everyone's kind of celebrating it and hyped about it and asking for stuff. And they have really, well, as Dim's about to tell us, they've got right in on that and done a bang tidy job, especially this year.
Not unaccustomed as I am to donning a tinfoil hat, shall we say. I've got the assumption that GW is never going to jump on the October bandwagon because that would accept they did something wrong in the first place. So I think October is always going to be something that doesn't have anything to do with GW. Now, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. And I mean, like I'm pretty sure this year, like they did it as purely a social media thing, so people on Instagram could share the Orktober pictures of their painted orcs. That's a cool thing, you know.
Maybe there's some truth in what you just said, because if they won't promote it so much anymore if they realise that they're just promoting other people.
Yeah.
And if other people pick up the mantle better than they do, then by saying anything about it, they're just promoting them, aren't they?
Well,
so
it's not like GW has ever failed to do something and given ground to a bunch of companies to make money off their mistakes before, is it?
Yeah, but then once they've done it, they're quick to nip it in the bud as quick as they can. So you can bet your bottom dollar, like they actually, as it goes, half the weapons on that already you can't use because of the new rules Imperial armor. So that's what they always do.
Well, you say that, but just to point it out, I mentioned it in my video. I did a comparison between the Forge World and the Cromlech one.
Very good video.
Yes, I
thoroughly enjoyed that. It was much more than an unboxing and comparison. You went deep dive into that. And also, if you haven't watched it yet, check it out, because especially towards the end, I like how you went into like all the conversion possibilities and other options. So you went even further than just a comparison. It was if you're into squig-offs, watch that video, because it's pretty extensive.
I was just waiting for him. I was just waiting for Scar to put out a Norzilla video, and that was it. I was going to hang my hat up and go, "Oh, you bastards!" Oh, got one. Huh? Oh well, rub it in my face all over YouTube. Yeah, I want one too. I watched his video.
He is beautiful. He is beautiful.
Gee. I said to him,
you should be jealous.
I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get one.
Love him.
Dread, when I get I might even have already actually thinking about it. Kyle's squig-off file. It's pretty one. If it prints on my thing, it should do. I won't use it myself anyway. Yeah. So just to round up the Orktober thing, it's become something more important. And we can keep running with this, and I think it's a good thing. And I think so. I think we've talked about it informally, but I think we're probably gonna try and do something more focused and something to celebrate it next year.
Next year, definitely.
I love it. You know, the best thing is we give it like, GW, man. Like, you do your October, but it's not even in October. Like, what the fuck are you playing at?
And
the hypocrisy of it that we're sitting here 2 months later, so we're actually not as fast as GW at celebrating October. So sorry, guys, we ain't got a leg to fucking stand on.
We addressed it.
We're fucked up.
We addressed it, which is more than they even did. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, we fucked up worse than them, but at least we're more humble than them. There you go.
No, we're not. You are. I think you're fine.
Fair point. I stand corrected.
So yeah, we thought we'd go over what the various companies have done. This isn't a exhaustive list. I'm sure there's some stuff on Thingiverse and some other stuff, and we haven't talked about anybody's like really cool conversions and pictures and stuff that's been going around the internet around about Orktober. But we just kind of looked at what other companies have done to kind of celebrate it. There's an awful lot of companies that cater particularly to Orc players, and probably will be more in the future. And I've just grabbed a couple of those, and I've got a list down of what they did, and we're going to go through it. So
who we got? Who's first up?
GW. They gave us Bupkis. Right. Okay. So
next.
Right. I think I'll probably go in reverse order, because that's probably the easiest way to do it. So we're going to start with Gear Guts, just because there's a lot to cover, so we're not going to talk about it in a huge amount of detail. But Gear Guts, Kyle, friend of all of us on the channel.
We start running the list on the screen now. By the time the episode's over, people might be able to get it all in.
Yeah, Gear Guts makes a lot, guys.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. Like, yeah.
So basically, everything that he did in September, everything he designed in September for his patrons, one of which is me, disclosure, like that they could grab on September has gone on the store to buy, and then there was all the STLs for Orktober, all of which went onto the store in Orktober as well, so that they were available. And
you know what? I looked at the list of his Orktober releases. He's got, I think I'm right in saying this, there is more miniatures, more different products you can buy from his range for the month of Orktober alone than GW's entire Orc range. Like, it's that's the scale we're talking about here with Gear Guts. So the fact that we're not going to cover everything, that's why, because it doesn't
nuts. Do that every month. He comes close to it, but that
yeah. I think he's almost producing a fucking miniature a day minimum at this point. It's that nuts. It really is.
There's 50 designs, 25 for each month.
Crazy, isn't it? Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
A standout for me for
so that's
his
the biggest effort of all of Orktober for any single person, isn't it? Really.
You viewers will remember that he designed our Warbosses. which were awesome and cool.
Which are slowly, I say very slowly getting painted. You know what I mean?
Right.
Getting there.
Mine's built. I built mine the other day. Dread, what have you done?
I've got arms on fucking clips and everything.
I've just put my desk back together. All right, I'm going to crack on with this. This is coming in the next few weeks.
Dread, you're going to be last. Dread, you're going to be last to paint your army and last to paint.
I was about to say, how's that army?
No, he's not.
You can't.
No, he's not. I haven't picked up a paintbrush under my grots, and he's fine.
Well,
I don't even know why I come on here.
He didn't just design our
Abuse.
Warbosses. For Orktober, Mr. Gearguts designed, some viewers may be aware of, Roxy Derivator, who's got a YouTube channel as a big member, prominent member in the community. And yeah, he's designed the Warboss version of her, and it is very cool looking.
Trying to hold the arms up without spoiling the detail, but yeah, printed it off.
Oh, move it.
Focus.
There we go.
You know,
Do you know what you could do is just lay an image over.
No, I was going to lay an image over anyway. I don't know why I picked it up. It's just Roxy.
You don't need to now. They got that blurry mess to look at. What do they want? No, it's cool. I was there through part of, I think, Dim, you were as well, in the Discord while he was designing Roxy, and Roxy was there as well, and we were all just sort of throwing ideas in there. And she's got a little crown off at a jaunty ankle, and it's a cool looking mini. That's the kind of his Orktober range, of which is extensive. That's kind of the thing that sort of stood out to me.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle's like that though. He'll take your input. Like when he was designing the Warbosses, he was asking me about concept ideas, and I had said to him about the hologram, about it in the Skarnir Warboss. That was the bit that I said to him. I was like, if it includes that would be cool, you know, and then stick a cap on him and away you go. And yeah, he runs, like, he'll incorporate ideas into designs when he's looking for feedback off of people, but he listens. Fair play to him. Cheers, Cole.
I was going to say, well, one of my favourite things from Orktober, is, well, I say it was one of the September STLs, but the Unlucky Goblins, which I had a hand in designing. Well, a few of them, but he's got a lot of sort of goblin crew and stuff like that. And I've printed a few of the gobbles off. I can't remember where I've put them, the top of my head.
Check out his Zeppelin as well.
Oh, he's got so many really, really cool designs.
And so those that you've got there are actually ones you printed, are they, Dim? That one of Roxy, is that a print you did at home?
Yeah, that's one I printed off myself, yeah.
Okay. What printer did you get?
I've got an Elegoo Mars Pro 2, I think.
That's one I was looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's the price point's pretty good for the Elegoo Mars 2. It's out of commission at the moment because not too long ago I dented the Perspex spacing on the bottom, which you cannot in any way dent or scratch because it just won't work if you do that. So I replaced the film on it, did 4 prints, and on the 4th print, it dented it during printing. So I'm going to have to replace it again. And it's time consuming to replace. I'm not going to say that 3D printers aren't hard work when it goes wrong, but oh my God, is it the most convenient thing for this hobby.
How much is that part to replace?
Or, where did I put it?
Dread.
Yes, mate.
We're doing an episode all about
I quit.
Orktober. Like, why don't you ask your technical questions on the printer later?
It's about £5 for the replacement sleeves.
This month on the Warboss Show, 3D printers and the problems they pose.
Well, we're talking about STL design, so it's not a million miles away.
It's original.
And that is the printer that Kyle told me to get. So hey.
The good thing is, though, Kyle, if you don't possess a printer, the great thing is that he sells them on the website and the print files. You get the best of both worlds.
GearGutsMechShop.com.
Description below.
One word. Yeah. Right. Okay. So there's not a huge amount here, but Ramshackle Ramshackle Games, who
Yeah.
have always had a lot of useful stuff for orcs.
Mhm.
They have the green one stuff now. So they got the Outrider, which is totally not from Borderlands.
It's been kitted out with
Buggy.
crew now, though, because it didn't have crew before. So he's added crew and a few details and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a cool looking thing, isn't it? Cool looking.
It's pretty nice and printed in green resin.
Yeah, I've got some of that green resin, man. It's cool. It is quite cool.
Yeah.
It just
I've
gives
got
it a unique look, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a few people do it. There's a thing. I don't know if he did anything, but I forgot to check.
Foxbox.
Yeah, did Foxbox do anything for October?
I think Ben was in the middle of moving.
Yeah, I thought that too.
His store was out of commission, but it should be back up and running soon if it's not already.
Well, guys, if there's companies that you're aware of that released anything over October and we haven't shared it in this episode, just get it in the comments below.
Yeah, get in the
links
comments
and stuff so people can find this stuff, because that's
kind
of what we want to
Yeah,
do.
we really like as
Bring attention to this stuff.
Yeah, I know. As we're catering to the Orc community will probably want to keep these guys around. Go out and give them some.
I'm straight. We need them. Speaking of Ramshackle Games, shameless channel plug here. Coming up very soon on my channel, just because you're talking about Ramshackle, I've just received a package from Ramshackle Games, and yeah, some good shit in there, man. Good shit in there. It was Dread that actually made me aware of Ramshackle when he first did his video on them, and it's just some really cool stuff. Go and check out the site, guys. There's only that one thing for October, but just check out if you haven't. Check it out. It's good shit. Trust me.
What's happened is, I will say this about Ramshackle while we're on the subject, is a lot of people, especially when I did my video, some people would say that, oh, the resin quality though, blah blah blah, it's very different. He's changed his resin quality. That's what he's been away doing for this period of time. So his resin quality is up and on par with everybody else's now. It's really very good. So
good.
That's all of those.
Got some interesting. Like I said again, shameless channel plug. I will be sort of reviewing this stuff and looking at this stuff because it's an awesome little package he sent me. It really is.
I'm glad
proper buzzing.
I'm glad because I've been a long defender of Ramshackle for the usefulness of what I'm going to mention the thing I find particularly useful about Ramshackle in a second, but I've always been a big critic of the resin. So the fact he's changed the resin up, that's good news.
Yeah,
the one thing I would say is that it was reflected in the price. It was a lot cheaper when the resin wasn't great, and now it's looking a bit pricier.
It's a lot cheaper. So.
But yeah, the great thing that Ramshackle does as a feature is base almost every part that makes his things, and some of his vehicles are not easy to build, but the advantage of the way that he's designed his vehicles and his business is that you can pretty much buy every single part separately. You can get anything. It used to be in a treadlin. It used to be called in the Tridlin section. I don't know if he still calls it that, but yeah, you could buy like wheels and
I complimented him on that when I chatted to him in getting this stuff over, and I said, like, I just want to say, like, it's awesome that you include the bits. So like if you see something you're like, oh, the turret on that tank looks cool, you can buy just the turret, or just that, and it's such a cool thing for kit bashers and converters and scratch builders. It's an awesome site, so go check it out. If you haven't been aware of it, guys, check it out. You will not regret it. Some good shit on there.
Link in the description as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I think we'll link all the companies we've mentioned, won't
we? Next was For Fun Merchants, who are catering who's catering.
He's still my beating heart.
Didn't put out an awful lot this October, but still big orc torso and two-handed weapons and a few other choice bits. But For Fun has got a fantastic range of exclusive.
My favorite third-party orc provider. I love them. I love the stuff. It's the finest quality resin I've ever had the pleasure of owning. It's just perfect resin. It's perfect, and I think it's better than what anyone else is doing out there. And he's got a very small range, but it's quality over quantity on his site. It's just, in my humble opinion, sublime bits. Absolutely love them.
The perfect bits to fit into 40.
Oh, yeah. Divine. Good shit.
Not the last Will Healer of For Fun, actually, but in terms of what their site released, that was it for this October. But again, exclusively in Orc range. It's got some great stuff from past years, and it hasn't been around too long. So I imagine
like
that
his
site's going to get quite a lot bigger
tank
in the
hammer
years.
arms he bought out.
Oh yeah,
The tank hammer arms. So
two-handed weapons.
Yeah,
They're really, really nice.
Want some tank hammers for your tank busters? Some good ones there. Some good shit.
So next we've got Artel W Mages, who does a wide variety of things that most of which is catered towards the 40k audience, but not exclusively. It's got a lot of really, really nice stuff. Got some really, really big things for October, and I'm going to mention something from November as well because it's close to my heart. But the main thing, which this got shown off quite a while ago, it's finally out to buy, is the Iron Rider. It's like basically a huge, massive trike / Warboss on bike.
I missed the tease, and I only saw it just when you was sharing this list with us, and oh my god, that's my favourite now already.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yes,
and must for Speed Freak players, surely.
Yeah. I took that photo and the photo of the GW war trike, and I sent them both to my girlfriend, and it's just like, which is better? It's obviously no comparison. So,
Not the only comparison pics he sent to her this week. She goes, I like B best. That's a hot dog. Yeah, they're like the RTLW are kind of like they're kind of like the boutique range in third party, aren't they? They're very set themselves high up there they're kind of like a premier third party provider is kind of how I see them. They're
to translate Steve-O's tact, that means quite expensive.
I don't actually own. I do. I don't think I own any RTLW minis. But
I've got some RTLW stuff, but nothing 40k related.
What's like the resin and stuff like, for the price
it's
you're paying?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Only thing is I got the Iron Boss. I did an episode on it, didn't I? I'm sure I did.
Pretty sure you did.
Did I put it out?
Mate, if you don't know,
I recorded it. I got a load of RTL stuff, load of it, and it's beautiful. It's really nice. Yeah, the resin's great. The only thing is that big Iron Boss, he took a tumble from my shelf that used to be on the door, and he got smashed up a little bit. So that was a bit of a shame.
For context, Dredd put him on a shelf that's on a fucking a door that he swings open all the time, and his floor is made out of fucking flagstone. So it's not like,
So we have to stricken that from the record of the RTLW review. Okay.
Just context, all right? Yeah. It's like
if you throw your minis on a tiled floor, they will break, no matter what company you buy them from.
The funny thing is it wasn't the first time either. Actually, I actually did that tank for Scar's competition, the Grot tank, and that a large part of that was a resin set of tracks, and that took a tumble off that shelf long before the RTL stuff ever did.
Just maybe stop putting stuff on that shelf, mate.
Should have learnt my letter. I've taken the shelf off the door. It no longer exists. It's gone.
Yeah.
The shelf fell off and hit him in the head. He said, right, I'm taking all these off, and he put them down on his desk, and then the shelf fell off and smashed them all.
Did hit my head on the booth of it.
So after the Iron Riders, we've got the Iron Nuknas, I think they're called.
The Mega Knobs.
They're basically Mega Knobs. They're really nice, and they were sculpted by the For Fun dude. So he sculpted them for Artel as kind of like a crossover.
I've been eyeing them up for a Warboss in Mega Armor conversion because they look like scale-wise, they look bang on. I mean, they call them Mega Knobs, but to me, they look like Warboss size.
Well, the middle one I think is supposed to be a Warboss on Mega Armor, but obviously because technically you can't use that.
Fucking don't start. Don't.
It's there as just a leader if you want it.
Karen, when we did our Codex review, that was like, what? What do you mean there's no Mega Armored Warboss? but it's in Legends. It's all right. It's like, don't be giving me that shit. You know, the lot is. Come on now. Looking forward to-
Yeah, you can use it for now. Yeah. Enjoy the one edition it's going to exist. But anyway,
Go on.
Positivity.
Lastly, this wasn't out in October, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Shortly after October, Artel put out some Rebel Grots.
Oh yes.
And a few of them aren't new models. They've been on few of them have been on the Artel site for a while in other packs, and the pack is pricey if you want everything. But the leader that has got 2 head options, even if you don't want him in your Rebel Grots, that's a fantastic tank commander conversion in the, quite easily. And it's
a gorgeous little set. Gorgeous little set.
It's got like a turret base that's like a gun turret with two gun ends on the end of it. So instead of sticking that to a 40mm base, stick it on top of a tank. There's your Grot tank commander. Done. And that'll stick out pretty well.
They're very characterful, aren't they? And you've got the little one riding the little robotic squig, and it's
That's
just
one I've got. That's one I've got.
cracking little characterful miniatures, like really, really good.
That one riding the robotic squig was actually, it looked like it was going to be really fiddly, but it's actually quite easy to put together as well. It's nice.
I do like the
quite detailed.
Really nice.
So after that, we've got Hardcore Mages, another one that Kit is very exclusively for Orc stuff, and they did a lot.
Big standout for me. They are definitely. Yeah. I don't own any Hardcore miniature bits, but that's going to change soon. Having seen this Orktober stuff, because some gorgeous looking bits. The boys' bits, chopper hands and slugger hands, and just some good shit to put in some more variety in amongst your boys and stuff. Good shit.
The thing that I spotted, which I quite like, was the Orc Scrapper heads. And
they're beautiful,
great, like really
definitely
kind of Mad Maxy.
I wanted some of them for my tank busters. I'm like, some of these would make great tank buster heads, and some of them make great commando heads, and just really cool. Just
a lot of the stuff is very Mad Maxy. That's why I like it as well.
It ties in well. I really like their orc faces. They look like GW orcs. They really do.
It's probably worth pointing out, right? But say GW in the next couple of months to the year brings out a new boys kit, and it's monopose, and you can't really pose it. Hardcore's a nice alternative. It's almost like they're anticipating what Games Workshop is going to do and have catered for what the orc players actually want.
Well, I think there's enough third-party guys at this point who do legs, torsos, arms, and heads that are compatible with the current set, that even if Games Workshop did get rid of the current Orc Boys set, there's enough out there that you can still buy modular orcs. So it's not going to be the end of the world.
And presumably they'd be compatible with each other, so you could mix and match.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But if they're all designed to stick on the current kit, then they'd be modular with each other.
Well, I think with the Orc range now, especially now as what we're seeing with these third parties, is if GW bring out a kit or they redo a kit or whatever, and you don't like it, good news. There are fucking tons of options out there. So you got not only your GW got all their stuff and the Forge World stuff and that, but you got, as you can see from what we're showing you and telling you about, there's just so many third party companies out there catering towards them with alternative sculpts, parts for conversions, just different takes on things. So there's so much variety out there. Obviously, that all falls down if you wanting to build a tournament army, but it's what you're in the game for, and it depends what you're in the game for. If you're just in it to have fun games and casual
run your own
games,
tournament. There you go.
Run your own tournaments. It's only going to matter if you're really wanting to.
It's only going to matter if the community
official tournament scenes.
It's only going to matter if the community allows it to happen. Don't allow it to happen. It's not GW's business what you do with your models. It isn't. And if you make it their business, they're only going to take stuff away from you. Don't let them.
What's next?
Well, we've still got the Orkbuster Mega Boss worth mentioning as well from Hardcore, which is really, really nice. It reminds me of one of the bosses from Killing Floor 2, the computer game.
It's the Hulkbuster Mega Man, Iron Man suit, isn't it? Basically. An Orky version of that.
It's really, really nice. It's gorgeous. I really want that model.
Would make a stunning Warboss in Mega Armor for sure. It really would. Very cool.
Right, well, save the best till last, I think. This is probably where we're going to do most of the talking, but that just seems to be the thing with Orktober. Normally when you think of Orktober, one thing you're probably going to think of first, or amongst the first few things you're going to think of, is Cromlech.
Jesus,
really held the side.
Well deserved. Well deserved, I think. They did it 2 years running. Good on them. Keep it up.
And I was going to say, like, they did a lot this year. We got some amazing things.
And some of the limited stuff they did last year, like the Tiger Tank, they re-released as well this year on a limited run. So if you're one of those lucky gits, you managed to get one. Fair play.
Look. Great, good for you. Father Christmas might bring me one. I'm lucky.
He's not bitter.
You should be bitter, mate. This is.
It looks awesome. Oh, and you got them too. Oh, you're such a show off.
I did get some of the wrong parts for
You
it.
got too much money, bro.
It wasn't actually
Send me
an
some.
issue. But I got the killer Nors as well. They were so fun to build. I've got a little bit of filling in to do with green stuff, particularly because I think I got a few of the wrong parts. But
like the B
I just
one.
wanted to build them so badly that I just slap them together and I'll just cover the gaps in with green stuff.
Are you going to be doing a review on these?
Probably not. It seems unfair.
Why not?
Well, do. You're the one that's got them. Come on, do a review on them.
I want to do it.
I built them now. I built them.
Well,
So then show them off.
And I got the wrong
Building
parts
them as well, can't you?
But that said, I'm wanting to buy another set almost immediately because I want another 3. So sure, I'll do it.
Yeah, damn straight. Get a review.
Oh, God damn it. You know, I'm doing it now. It's still Black Friday sales, isn't it?
It's Cyber Monday technically when we're recording this, but yeah, you'll get like Black Friday sales.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, disclaimer to viewers: it's not Black Friday today.
No, but still have.
It ain't even Friday
sale.
today, I don't think. Unless it is when you're watching this.
I hope I missed the boat. I hope I can get some discounts on Cromlech stuff now.
I'm not that fast.
Really
at
worried.
Yeah. He's
Can't
so
hold
fast at editing, he can travel backwards in time. We'll film it tonight and we'll release it last week.
Yeah. Did anybody else want to talk about any of the other Cromlech stuff?
They would like the stompers look cool. They really do. The kits are really nice. There's so much and then they
really
sold.
Nice.
There was so much stuff. I think they sold like one massive bundle for like €500 or something in and around that pop. But like it was literally all of the stuff that they released. It was like the stompers, and then they have like separate arms for the stompers, and I was like, I was really impressed with the stompers, as you can tell. I don't have one, but they're really good.
I mean,
it's got me like last year they had an incredible Orktober. This year I think they surpassed it personally.
Knocked out
and it just got me so excited for 2021. What the hell are Cromlech going to hit us with in 2021? I mean, it's.
I think we should throw suggestions at them.
Yeah,
I want to gargle.
They're the ones that are most likely to listen.
Give me a Mega Norzilla.
Cromlech instead,
Yeah, I think Gargantuan Squigoth. Yeah.
That'd be very interesting to see what they come out with for that.
I bet they're working on that too. They've done the Squigoth. They're gonna be working on it.
Gargantuan Squigoth would be nice. Definitely.
Yeah.
I only bought the Squigoth, but all the stuff they had out, the Squigoth was just the thing for me that I was just like, I have to have that. I love it. I just fell in love with it straight.
I do have the Tiger Tank,
and
it is partly painted.
But that's a nice model as well, though. So
it's a beautiful model. I love it. I absolutely love it.
managed to get your hands on it. It is impressive. They are only limited runs.
Yeah.
In
So
Orktober.
you have been painting then?
Well, a little bit before, yeah. But
How long ago before we talking about here?
that
Like,
tiger tank is going to be the envy of all of us. All right.
Can we
Yeah.
can we not do this? Because most of my orcs that are my painted 1500 point list is was painted before some of the viewers were born.
that doesn't count. Then you're supposed to have started painting a
No,
new.
no,
Don't
no,
set
just
him
count.
back. Fucking hell.
I just turn around and go, oh well. There's some miniatures I painted 20 years ago. They count. It's like, no, mate, that's not how it works.
20 years, not 20 years.
Oh, 15. Sorry.
About 18.
There you go. See.
About 4th edition. So yeah.
The cheap.
Oh shit! It's 3rd edition. Oh god, the Gretchen are 3rd edition because they're before the plastic grots.
Well, I think it can. I think some my stuff was made. Some of my stuff was done before we.
Doesn't matter when it was made.
Because we did. We painted
it 20 years ago.
I'll stick up for Dim here. I'll stick up for Dim because actually the challenge was to get an army finished, not to start an army and finish.
All right.
We'll have to let him off.
I'll let it slide.
I mean,
so we allow the 3rd edition.
It's the only way I'm going to probably pick up enough enthusiasm to finish. So.
Yeah, for sure. Don't demoralise the man. We still need Dread to lose. Remember.
This is it. Come on, Dean. Come on. We believe. We believe.
The 3 of us only agreed to it to help you along, pushing. All right. Now it's over with, boys. We can,
Well, it's
changing your tune now, Dread. I remember all the stick, all the. It was you that had the bloody points.
What happened to you? Oh, sure, we'll make it 2000. And the rest of us like, no.
I'll be done in no time. You guys wait. Yeah, wait. It's the tortoise in the hair. With the tortoise fucking won, Sonny Jim. So suck it up.
I mean, if we do 2000, I will win. I will win on day 2. Actually, no, I'll win on day 1. Actually,
I've undercoated and started.
It was the first time I realised that the tortoise in the hair story is actually a true story.
It's nowhere near a 1500. It's more like double that what I've started.
It's what you finish.
There's like 25 grot tanks there for a start as well, and there's 3 battle wagons, couple of 3 trucks.
Share in the comments if you think Dread's full of shit. That'll get the algorithms fucking going, man. Go on, Dread, keep talking. The feedback's brilliant on this one.
You'll see.
See it like my getting to 2000's not going to be too bad for me because I've got a Gargi that's painted. So
yeah, I've got a Morkanot lined up for that and whatever else I can get my hands on. I'm rebuilding some dreads. I'm getting distracted with rebuilding some dreadnoughts and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But try to focus on 1500. Getting there. Slowly, but getting there.
So we've covered October pretty extensively, I'd say. We owe the viewers some questions answered, I believe.
Got them here. So,
oh, you've got them. All right.
Yeah, I've got them. I've got them printed off.
Where's he going?
Oh, we've got to get them. He's got them.
Right. Rather than jumping around, I'm probably just going to go in order. Okay. Probably just going to be.
That's a logical way to go about things. I like the idea of that.
Still got to be in his bonnet. It's great. Oh, dread. Right, okay. So 5-header / Flompo is asking, what is your opinion of pop culture reference armies, e.g., Hello Kitty Necrons?
Warning label for viewers there. If you want to look up like 5-header, just be careful on the Google search.
He's got some very creative hobbyist actually. He's got some really cool stuff, and he's working on some amazing snakebite stuff at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had him on one of the hobby hangouts as well. So yeah, go
Well,
check it out. Go check out his
well,
channel.
themed armies, does that include? I mean, even I really like the Space Marine chapter. The one, what are they called now? The
Angry Marines.
Angry Marines. Yeah, they're funny, and I don't think that's really that's a sort of.
The thing I particularly like about that is preferred enemy Matt Ward codexes.
But they're just brilliant. I just think that's a really great concept, and I know it's like a fan created thing as well, so it's not canon. And that's it's
Yeah, it's 1d4. 1d4 came up with that.
And I think a lot of freebooter armies for me, when they're really piratey, this is my opinion, but when they're really piratey, for me that is a themed army. You know, it's just yeah.
I like the character. I like seeing like R2D2 orcs. Like someone does a miniature of that as well, and I like seeing Captain America orc or whatever, and whatever bits and pieces people like to do. It's nice seeing people's creativity, so I'm all for it.
And the turtles, did you see the turtles? When someone did the turtles, that was cool as well.
Pretty good ones.
Yeah, there's some good things you can play about with. And when they do like back in the day, do you remember someone did the when killer cans came about? Well, not when they came about, but someone did the beer cans. Do you remember? And there was like a Heineken and a Guinness can, and yeah, they were cool. I still like got that lodged in the back of my head. It's like, oh, I'm going to do that one of the days because that's fun, you know.
Steve-O?
Yeah, they're much what you said, really. They're cool. They're not really for me. I don't really like mixing universe things and that within my army, but it's cool. It's creative and it's fun, and it's you see the images shared. There's some funny ones out there and creative ones, and it's cool. Yeah, I get inspired by stuff and that, but I don't. I sort of take ideas from, other media and stuff for conversions and things, but that wouldn't really see something and go, oh, I will just make the orc version of that exactly that. I'll take little bits, I like to keep them in universe sort of thing. But yeah, they're cool. Yeah.
I think though sometimes it might be that you've got a fully painted army and you've fully done everything in fitting with that, and then you're like, well, I want to do something different, and maybe that's when those sort of things come about. None of us have done that.
I was about to say, there's no fear of that happening to any of us. Like, come on.
Well.
1500 to fully painted out.
You'll just move on to Necrons.
Oh yeah, told you, man. You scratch that, you know what I mean? Scratch that green paint off, and there's a chrome dome underneath there.
Yeah. Hey man. Oh yes, Dim's already done some things.
As someone who does crossover minis, I would just like to flat out encourage anybody to do any kind of creativity with their hobby, and I think that the key phrase there is their hobby. If that's what you want to do, you do that, and don't let anyone talk you out of it or anything like that. Just give them a middle finger. I think I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I absolutely love doing stuff like that. I've made like a Skeletor and a He-Man using GW parts. I love that kind of thing myself. Any excuse for a good theme. Themes are always fun. I don't want to be too much of an old man about this, but I think there's a little bit too many people in this hobby who are a little bit too uptight about certain things like that. And, I think it's worth pointing out and just remembering that this is ultimately for a game about a hobby about having fun. And if that's
your miniatures, do what you want with them, innit?
Yeah.
If it's making you happy, then you are doing the very purpose they are for. They're there to bring you enjoyment and entertainment, and if you're getting that out of whatever you're doing with your stuff, then you're not doing it wrong.
Nobody can tell you what to do with your hobby. It's your hobby. You enjoy it. Right. And Fivehead is also asking, how many grot tanks have you finished? So for Dread, that's none.
None for me, but I've also started none.
Are we talking painted finished or are we talking built? Because I've got like 25.
I can hope not for your case.
Thank
I
you.
know. To be fair, me and Dredd are in a similar position because I've not fully painted all of mine. I've got paint on them, but I've not finished them. I
Yeah,
want
well,
to do some
that's that.
indulge. Don't want to do some decoration and stuff on them. They're tabletop ready, whatever it is, battle ready. But they're just basic. And also Dreads look better than mine because I didn't do anything other than mine and built them basic bitch, and it's just mostly the Forge World ones, and it's a shame the Cromlech ones weren't out at the time, but yeah,
I
I've got some of
both
the
kids.
Cromlech ones too.
So much fun.
And I don't have any scratch build ones yet or converted ones. Unusually for me, because I would normally prefer to convert. Grot tanks is one of the few things I haven't converted. I've got a few of the Mega Grot tanks as well. I think I have 24 Grot tanks that are built and got paint on them, and then 3 Mega Grot tanks built and painted.
I just think they're going to look great when they're just, yeah, especially when you and I play on the same table. It'd be great if we do bring along Grot tanks and have just
The sea of
Grot tanks. Yeah.
My 1500 point list has got as like 8 Grot tanks and a Mega Grot tank in there because they had to be there. Just had to be there.
I like to see the Grot tanks arriving in reserve, like sort of like the fucking charge of the Rohan, you know, it's fucking Return of the King, just Grot tanks fucking coming over the hill, fucking trundling over, loads of them.
with the new rules, is there any change to how many we can have in an army? How many you can field?
Don't think so. I think you can have 8 in a squad rather than the usual 4. I think you might be able to put more in a squad, but I mean you basically like you've got a maximum of 3 per detachment, I think, or maybe even 3 per army. But
you can bring loads, Dread.
You can, yeah.
We'll let you. It's grand. Bring as many as you want.
You're fine.
I probably won't do it for this edition. I don't know if we'll talk about that today or not, but I've been thinking about doing a Grot tank mini fan-made Grot tank codex for quite a while, and I think I probably will get around to at least getting some notes chucked together for it. I've been thinking about doing that for quite some time. Just some fun Grot tank army with like just lots of silly inventions and things and extra units and stuff just to make it fun. And that way, the way that you would get around that is you would make the Grot tank units. That would be your troop choice, along with Gretchen scavengers, and then you could take as many squads of Grot tanks you liked because they're troops. Sorted. That'd be the way around that. But yeah, they did get some. They've got some very nice changes though in the book. They no longer have the redundant 6+ invulnerable save because if you take them in Grot mobs, they're going to get 6+ invulnerable save. So they've got Ramshackle in as well instead, which is. And bearing in mind you can stack those 2 together, that's a pretty nice combo. They are very, very survivable at the moment. Grotzukas and big shooters are free effectively, and you pay 5 points less for the other ones. I still don't think the Grotzuka's worth taking. In my opinion, like if you're gonna move them up close and try and destroy something, use the Scorchers. If you're gonna try and tickle something without and basically not go after big hitters with tanks, which is probably what you should be using your Grot tanks for because you want to take advantage of that good ballistic skill. Then go big shooter, in my opinion. The big shooter's just better. It's got twice as much range. Take that.
But how about the movement? Anything changed there?
The movement is half the movement is fixed. So you've got like I think 6+ D6, and then I think the movement does decrease as it gets wounded. I think, if I remember rightly, or that might be the Grot Mega Tank. But it's got a little bit of fixed movement. So
6 at least,
yeah, it's a little bit more reliably faster.
7 at least.
Yeah. Yeah, good fun. Right. So we've got a couple more questions from Five Header. people people slash kids used to be bullied for playing video games. Now, video games now they are mainstream accepted hobby. Will wargaming ever achieve this?
Probably, yeah. At the rate that Games Workshop's going, I reckon so. I don't know when, but yeah, if they keep going the way they do, it's becoming more of a household name. Now it's nothing compared to some brands. It's still super obscure, but it is getting out there. I reckon so.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of people that remember it from the old days, they're like, oh, the same way as the reason they changed the name of stores. Oh, Warhammer. Oh, yeah. And then they see what there is now, and they see how much it's changed in the last 20 years. And they're like, oh, wow. Oh, that's really impressive. So people are, once they're turned to it, especially with the video games, like you say, as with Dawn of War did the first time round, it brings people over, it drags them in, and they will, I think you're right, they will grow. It will get bigger and more acceptable.
I think with the movies and things that they've got, the animation movies and all that they've got in the pipeline coming up, and the computer games are a bit more of an emphasis now on AAA games rather than a lot of the shovelware that's been coming out. But all that stuff introduces a lot more people to the universe and stuff and the ideas and things. And from that, it's sometimes a jumping off point for people to actually start looking into the hobby itself. But yeah, it seems to just be gaining momentum and stuff, and the whole being a nerd thing is kind of a lot less.
I was just about to say that social
just generally in all nerd, comic, collecting and collecting stuff and being an anorak and things. It's kind of common to so many people now, and it's much more accepted. So yeah, I think we'll always be fairly niche compared to a lot of other things, but
being a nerd is less nerdy than it used to be.
Yeah.
There's still some things like train spotting that will always be forever committed to the completely nerdy things. But, I think a lot of things...
Hey, watch out for them train spotters, man. Their image and a big marketing change. So, you watch next year.
There goes my subscribers.
Every fucker will be doing it, mate.
But yeah, no, I do. I think there's a lot of things that are nerdy before that are not so nerdy anymore, or that being a nerd is cool now. Like a lot of people are not fussed about their nerdy activities. In fact, they've become cool enough things. It's a quirk. And it's a doey thing too. It's a creative thing. We actually have a hobby that actually creates stuff, whereas a lot of hobbies these days, they don't actually have a finished product at the end, particularly video game and stuff like that. You put a lot of time and money into the game and you don't get anything back. So there is that too.
Yeah. Shame can only really exist in places where it's kind of tacitly agreed that the society looks down on that activity. So the second it becomes a mainstream thing by definition, it's not a shameful thing. So. Right, we'll skip that one. What is the one piece of hobby advice that you wish you had been told from the start?
We had good ones for this before. I know we did.
In your paint.
I was definitely to have a knife. I'm sure it was.
It's also a fucking knife. No, I remember getting when I was in high school and I was into Epic, then known as Space Marine, the game, and I got Elder Army in a box, and very excitedly built all the bits together and that. Yeah, pansies, me, I know, but built up my Pansy Epic Force and then brought them into the box to show my mate, who was going to introduce me to the game properly, and he was like, "Oh, you've built them all wrong." Like, what do you mean? He said, "Well, you've got them all mixed." Like, I said, "Well, I thought the banners looked cool." And he said, "No, they all need to go on the same base together." I'm like, "Oh, fuck." So I just mixed everything in ways I just thought looked cool. And yeah, so I wish I'd been told that. But I don't know, generally wise, what I wish I'd been told early on.
I'm going to ruffle some feathers. I would say now, my old thing was totally, I think, to do with modelling and a tool or something like that. But actually what I would say now, the thing I wish I knew right from the beginning, don't invest in the products, i.e. books. All all of that stuff.
Unless you like them, then crack on.
No, just don't. Even if you like them, ain't worth it. Because you buy it and it's redundant in no time. It's just not worth it. Just get the PDF. Just concentrate on what drew you into the hobby, which is the really cool models, isn't it? That's what you got into. It weren't because you wanted to buy GW books. So yeah, don't buy the books. Save your money and spend it on models.
Well, I've always enjoyed the books. I remember at the gaming club I used to go to. They used to have all the codexes, like, and you used to be able to like borrow the books from there. And I used to like just borrowing a random codex like every week, just to take it home and read about a different faction and read their like lore and stuff.
I'll copy a new codex every week.
Yeah.
And the library 10 cents.
I did once. Long time ago.
I CDs from the library. Borrow CDs and
I remember a job me and my buddy worked out a long time ago. So I can't get fired for it now. We printed off the entire 5th edition rulebook. The printer was going like all fucking day. I was like just keeping an eye out for the manager and that. And yeah, literally just had this massive phone book wodge, but I only had it for about a week as well until I actually bought the book properly. But
I'd say, like, I was taught to tin me paints from the start, so I'd reckon the wet palette is probably the best thing that I've discovered along the way that I wish I knew from the start. That and diversifying the paints I use, not just buying Games Workshop stuff. I wasn't aware that there was other stuff for a very long time. Yeah, so yeah, like the wet palette, and then like starting to buy other paint lines like Vallejo and such.
I wish someone had told me to concentrate more when I was cutting bits up and that, using one of these. I wish someone had told me, like, don't watch telly while you're doing it. Don't do it like late at night when you're half asleep. And
make sure you've got some pirate plasters at hand.
And then you'll still have feeling in that finger if you've been told that. That's what I wish.
Yeah, I was going to say there should be about 10 separate things there for Steve-O on knife safety. Should have been told. Like, to this day, should have been told.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, probably not getting rid of your 3.5 Chaos Space Marine Codex, because you're going to miss it so much that you're going to have to go and buy another one again.
It's a really good one, man.
Hunt it on eBay. This is the best Codex GW ever made. Fact.
It's up there. Oh, it's up there. I'll give you that.
Alongside that one. Oh, yes. I love this one. Do you know how much murder it is to try and get the old, cute Termagants? It's a nightmare. I can't get any. Yeah. In terms of specifically hobby stuff, oh God, I could being the hobby git, I could probably just waste an hour just going into every bits and pieces. But I think just the thing I could probably reflect on, and then we can move on to the next set of questions. I just wish when I was around, when I'd started the hobby, that there was something like YouTube around. I mean, like, there are an awful lot of really, really good channels on this site that just cover everything you could think of. And there's a YouTuber who will specialize in almost anything you could think of. And there's a few people who do really, really good beginners videos. Dread is one of those people who does really good beginner videos. Do some more, you fucking shit.
Oh, yeah, no, that was the plan.
Because they're really good. Do more. Like, Dread's got some really good, like I really like his Gaslands and Scratch Plasticard ones. But like, yeah, like there's loads and loads of tutorials out there. Loads of YouTubers, hobby tubers, if you want, hobby tubers, do like bits and pieces on things that I wish I known when I started. Watch those videos, and you will be a better hobbyist overnight. Someone
like Vince Venturella, for me, like, made me realise that, gee, like some of those paint schemes that I see, and some of these fantastic, jobs that people do, they are achievable. Like, I've seen him do it, and I'm like, I could do that. I can't do it just the same, but like, I could follow that at least. I like you know, I do. I think YouTube's amazing for that. You can
God,
just
what
lean over the shoulder of an expert and see them do it. I mean, what better way to learn?
Stand on the shoulders of giants. What number of hobby cheating is he up to now?
Oh, jeez.
It's like, I'm sure it's 3 digits at this point.
Playlist saved anyway.
Yeah, it is Hobby Vince Venturella's hobby cheating series. Just watch it. Just
Brilliant.
watch it. So many great tips. Another one.
Fall asleep to his voice though. His voice is very monotone.
I like a particular favourite of mine of his is his history of Games Workshop. He talks about the very early days. A really good video, and do you know what? It's an amazing video to fall asleep to. It is, and it's one I do put on the telly and fall asleep to quite regularly.
God, it's the third time I've tried to watch that one. Let's see if we can last it this time.
No, genuinely, I've watched it all the way through and enjoyed it. I genuinely put it on now to fall asleep to. His sultry tones, just talking about the early days of Games Workshop.
I recommend the one he does about the Vallejo metal paints, doing transitions between the 3 stages of metal. That's a really good video. Definitely worth watching if you want to improve your game on metals and make your metals look more, you know, class.
There's lots of good videos out there. Also, look for good hobby videos where you wouldn't necessarily expect it. Like the best example I can think of is Adam Savage's Tested, which is a good channel to follow anyway because it's just great. It's just Adam Savage being Adam Savage. It's great, but
he mucks about with a fair amount of styrene.
Yeah, and like he's got some really good styrene tutorial videos. He doesn't always tell you how he does things because he does more sort of here's what I've built rather than here's how I did it. But he does do tutorials from time to time, and they're really, really useful because he's an incredibly experienced modeler of all kinds, and he'll cover quite a lot of stuff that don't necessarily get used. And one of the things that I would recommend, the most important thing that I think any hobbyist can know getting into this is that there is almost no limit to source material for hobbying, right? Almost any kind, like the best advice I can give you is learn to think outside the box, learn to start looking at items that you can use in your hobby in ways that the product itself or the item itself was not necessarily intended, and you will get a lot further because there's a lot of cool stuff out there that you can use that are just conveniently ideal. Like
go nuts with a tenner in the pound shop.
Yeah, exactly. Or like one of the simplest things you can do is when you're done with your super glue pots, like keep the lids. Like the lids can be made into all manners of silly things, from rockets to like exhausts to jet engines, you name it. Like just silly things like that. Never throw anything away. Never ever get like a seconded plastic orc sprue that has like tiny arms and hands and think, oh, I know, I'll get rid of those because there's no way I'm ever going to find a use for those.
Just send them to
they
Dim,
are the
yeah.
perfect size for grots, by the way. So, and remember, you know how Dim said he's got a grot army. Yeah. Those cup hands. There's no cup hands for grots. Seconded orc sprues. Never throw anything out. Never. And as I'm going to forget his name now, but
viewers, what you don't know is that all of those A4 really handy boxes there is you know, just the start of Dim's board. You know, he's got, just doesn't throw a thing away. All his tin cans in one, all his plastic bottles in another.
I recycle, dude. I recycle, but
Is that off to the grouch, isn't he? Really?
Yeah.
As long as he hasn't got sealed up bags labelled up of like his shavings and stuff, you know, like, dated and catalogued. And
February 26, 1995, beard shavings.
Just leave that there. I can use that for a fungus or something.
Oh, you've got a wine cellar. Don't drink nothing out of them fucking bottles.
That's what wine people do, isn't it?
What's this? Scrumpy?
But the Miniature, I think he's called the Miniature Hobbyist. He's got a really good channel. I've got an awful lot of professional jealousy for the Miniature Hobbyist. He's catapulted his channels from out of nowhere, and he's been doing a lot of videos about making stuff using sprue, and there's some great tips. There's some great tips in those videos. Search them out. He's got a better catchphrase than me as well. Nibbly knobbly bits, like, you know, just you know, nah, fuck.
Nick it.
Learn from my mistakes. That's mine. It wasn't the planned one. I didn't have a planned one, but I didn't think it would be that. Anyway, right. Gear Guts asks, what is your most prized orc collectible? And what unit do you have that you are extra proud of, and whether or not it's converted or not, and if you did, how did you make it? He likes his
Battle Fortress from Forge World is my most highly prized collectible, and miniatures I'm most proud of. But I don't know. My Death Dreads I'm pretty pleased with. Snap, Crackle, and Pop. I like my Big Mech as well with his Mega Man cannon. I was pleased with the way that came out. Yeah.
There's a couple of things I have on the Orky collectible side that I'm really proud of. I have my Gorka Morka
You
tags.
Wow.
That were gifted to me by my friend Sci-Fi. So my Gorka Morka tags, they're
I've
like
read them every day as well. Full of you.
uber prize for me. And then the 7th edition Orc objective markers. The only good thing about that limited edition codex was the objective markers. They're my.
I thought I'd get some of the last one, you know.
They were. They're my favorite sort of collectibles as such. And then my favorite miniature that I have. Jesus. Yeah, no, I have a Battle Fortress as well, but I don't know if it's my favorite. Probably me Rebel Grots, me Gorka Morka Rebel Grots. They're very characterful. I like them. They're really cool. I haven't gotten around to painting them all, but I've made a start in them. But I like that sort of era of sculpt. So I like a lot of the Gorka Morka stuff. Probably explains why I'm an admin to the Facebook group on Gorka Morka. You know,
as am I.
Yeah, as is them.
Oh, crikey. Right. Yeah. So my most prized collectible is inevitably Zodgrod Wartsnagger from Second Ed. Although any Second Ed orc stuff I've got is I love it. I've got enough. I've been slowly collecting as many of the metal Second Ed Gretchen as I can get. Not the plastic ones. Freaking hate those. But the I've seen some very talented conversions to make those look almost passable. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the plastic ones. But the metal ones are gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really hard to come by.
100% agree.
Took me ages to get them, but I really like those too. I just thought I would show a model from Memory Lane. This is a model that I made in Third Ed for a competition on the War Forum. Widget Worky Bits, my big mech on bike, which is made from the old Skaven Doom wheel, the metal one, and some parts that are mostly from Warhammer Fantasy, like just bits and pieces. Some Skaven wheels, that's from the back, that's from an Empire cannon, I think. And then I don't know where the side struts are from. I think they're from Warhammer Siege. But yeah, and there's a squig in that wheel in the middle. You can't really see it. A very irritated squig. You could just about see him. He's pinned in there. And then, yeah, I made this a while ago. It did have a ejector seat, but I'm in the midst of converting this. This is going to go on my 1,500 point list. I'm going to run it as a shock attack gun mech, and I'm going to have tubes running down the sidearms and then going up into the middle, and I'm going to have the shock attack gun mounted on the top at the back.
Nice.
But but this has been a lot of fun to do,
It's a
and
cool concept. I like it.
yeah, I've had this guy quite a while. He's been with me for most of my orc journey, so pleased with that one. Oh, and just to make more people jealous, and the prize collection. Would you look at that Forge World Run bot?
Oh yeah,
Tasty.
yeah.
Lovely. I do have the grot with the remote control. He's just to one side at the moment.
The remote control even just itself. It's very cool. Go with the Cromlech mechanical bomb squeak really well.
There he is. Not in focus, but there he is.
Well, leaves me then. Myself, my favourite collectible would be my Games Day Gorkamorkanal, because it is the model that got me into orcs proper. So that is, and it's a rare model and it's very collectible. So yeah, I still haven't busted it out the packaging because I'm saving it for when I come to work on it. I'm going to do it in an episode and take it out, but it's staying in there for now. And I just, it's just nice to look at like that. And then my favorite or my most precious miniature, I'd say, would be my Mega Dread made by Cruiser. I always wanted it when he built it. I was heartbroken already, expecting it to sell to somebody and expecting to never see it again, because I had it in my cabinet at home and he was going to sell it and I totally expected it to go and I loved it. And then years later, I finally got to buy it off him. So like, yeah, I'm really chuffed with that. It is, a model that really inspired me and it made me go, geez, I really want to get into plastic art, because, look what you can do. And then the miniature I'm most proud of myself would be my Warboss. I've got my own Warboss. I've got a miniature of me, and I've also got one made by Ramshackle Games as well. So I've actually got 2 miniatures of me. That's what I'm most proud of. I mean, geez, I've got my own orc. Like,
I was gonna say that's all of us, isn't it? Yes, right. Yeah. I can't count. So this is also from Gearguts. With the results of recent GTs coming out with orcs having tied for the highest win percentage, how do we change the narrative in the community away from orcs are bad?
we would say, mate, we always have done. It's just, when people say it, just go,
yeah.
Who cares?
I mean,
no. You're here for the wrong reason if you care about that too much.
Yeah. I mean,
it's okay. You can enjoy the game.
Bit of a...
Don't enjoy the game. I'm just saying, don't matter that much. If you love orcs, you should love orcs. It shouldn't be about whether they're good in the game or not. So too much concentration on that, I think it's just.
I agree with that. Like, I don't really regard. I'm not really. The problem is when I think of like the Orc Codex being bad, what is bad to me is not whether it wins or not, because I've never given a toss about whether or not I can win. That's not really what I care about. For me, the biggest problem that I've had with Orcs of late is that we're looking at the most unprecedented cull of Orc units that Orcs have ever had. After Rogue Trader, but that's Rogue Trader for you. Like Rogue Trader was a role-playing game, not a skirmish war game. And I mean, we certainly lost the vast majority of our options. And for me, the hobby is all about converting and making things unique, and making that uniqueness be felt on the tabletop is something that you can no longer really achieve in 40k, not to the extent that you used to be able to do in other editions. And that's what bothers me. In terms of whether or not you can win or not, like, I mean, I'm quitting current 40k more or less, and not really bothering with it at all at a time when my kind of army is doing better than it's ever done. And a few of my friends, Carl included, actually is bewildered by the fact that I'm doing that. But it's just like, it's not really what I care about, and it never has been. Like, I find current 40k quite boring, and winning doesn't matter to me. It never has done. So I think it's very, very good that Orc players can, you know, go into the tournament scene and do well. I think that's good for the people who like that. But I'm not one of those people. How to change the narrative? Well, like, it's going to change sooner or later. Like I think the thing to remember is that we're kind of in a position, as a very strange position in terms of the hobby. I think that's one of the biggest problems we've got, is we've got a very massively colliding set of generations who understand the game in a completely different way. Like, I'm an old fart at this point, and the hobby, the way that I see the hobby, is just completely alien to an awful lot of the people who started now. Like, there are aspects that we share, but there's an awful lot that we don't. There's an awful lot of expectations I have. They're never really going to be honored, because why would you cater to 40 and 30-year-olds when you can cater to 15-year-olds and 8-year-olds and and 20-year-olds, you know, they're going to be around for an awful lot longer. But at this point, we've got a very strange situation where, like, the game's kind of evolving and changing, and I think in the next few years, I think we'll see a different narrative. And what that narrative will be, I don't know, because I probably won't be part of that narrative at that point. But and it'll be interesting for those who want to pay attention to it. That's for sure. That's all I've really got to say on it. Anybody want to add something?
Like, I wouldn't worry about it too much. What's powerful and what's not powerful changes all the time between the editions and even in the editions themselves. So, you know, peaks and troughs, and then similar to what Tim's saying and Dread and such, and I'm sure Steve will say this as well. It's like, what's powerful, you know what I mean? You're only really interested in that in one dynamic in a tournament scene, but then there's also, like, playing against the meta. If you're into that aspect of it, all well and good to you, but that's not the be all and end all. So I don't worry about it personally, myself.
We will always have the coolest faction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just beat the drum for what we have got, which is
every faction's community bitches and moans about their codex.
Yeah, that's true
and
as
their
well.
things,
Oh,
and everyone does.
fucking,
Every you see it on all the groups. They all go bang on about, you know, how their stuff is, you know, being shot.
Necron players giving out about all the new releases. Well, look at me.
Jeez, man, the saltiness in some of them groups. Fuck me, I'm like, you guys have got it pretty fucking good right now. I don't know what you're bitching about, but no, but yeah, I just like say I get into a faction myself because it's cool. I like the lore of it, and I like the look of it, and the themes and stuff. I wouldn't go as far as saying I don't give a fuck at all about winning, because I do get quite competitive sometimes. I'm one of them rare cases where, guess what, people, you're allowed to be competitive and fluffy. You can enjoy a competitive game and lore-ridden game. You don't have to be in one camp or the other. That needs to be dispelled. We've got too many people that see competitive as a dirty word, and then the competitive players looking across going, well, why are they just playing, you know, doing this? You can be in both. You can have a themed, fluffy army and play a nice competitive game. You can do that. You can do that. You don't have to draw battle lines. You don't have to do it, people. Don't have to do it.
I mean, this is one of the, it must be said, if you've only ever played 6th edition and 7th edition and late 5th, and these last 2 editions, I think you'll be feeling really happy right now, because that's the first time you've been able to do that.
But
very long time. Whereas
Carl's asking there about, like, you know, whether, well, what we should do about people like that in the community, and like my response was stop them anyway. Which part of that is also, it's always been a good filter for the Orc community. I feel that people do look down at us as one of the crap races. That just means that we don't get the wrong sorts anyway. Like, we have always had a fairly good community. You know, like let's not spoil it by becoming like one of those. I mean, I don't mind if we start playing well in the meta, but generally when we drop down again, you know, some of these people will leave anyway. You know, like.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna like I'm gonna come back there. Just I feel I've got to because I'm on the channel and I've got to share my voice as well. I don't see competitive players as a bad thing or a dirty word.
I'm not saying I do.
don't, and I think we're at danger. We're at danger right now of talking to a community and making them feel like they're somehow lesser or not as worthy.
No, not
now,
at all.
and I know that's not what you're trying to say, but it can come across like that. And I think it's very important that in the same way as I wouldn't want an ultra competitive player, so I'd find it, you know, offensive. They're like, well, why are you playing that? That's crap. Or, you know, because I like the model, you know, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, I'm not going to look down my nose because people like the hobby for different reasons, and there is nothing wrong with thinking, getting your kicks and getting your thrills out of building a meta list, doing the research, going to the tournament, taking on the best and trying to do it.
You know? About whether our orcs are good or not, you know, I don't care.
There's a difference between that though. That's competitive players and salty players, and salty players come from both camps. And like I said, every faction, people are always going to bitch and moan about this and that and the other, but I think what you'll see from truly competitive players is they're probably doing all right with orc lists in tournaments, as like Geargut said, is proven that. But I think for us four, it's just that we're not really about that, you know, to lesser or greater extents. We're all kind of more interested in the look of our armies and the fluff and the feel and the creativity more than are they going to win battles against other factions. And
I mean, I'm not sure tournament players are going to be feeling that bad because an awful lot of
they won't be watching.
Well, yeah, and also an awful lot of what 40k is now was catered directly to them. So who are them?
It's the hobby in general. You know what I mean? We're all going to personally have different levels of the hobby that we all want. Some of us are going to be more competitive, more creative. It's all, you know.
What?
Can you read the question again? Because I think we've off it onto like.
How do we change?
Oh, we've totally gone off on
bad.
We've totally gone on the narrative, but I think we could probably get on to the next question.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Time is a ticking on this one.
A very timely TLC Creations asks, do you think GW will drop the ball on Orktober again this year?
That's answered. My next question.
That says it all, doesn't it? Riverton Dakar asks, what is your favourite single orc miniature of all time, GW or otherwise, to all the Warbosses? I'll just do mine quickly because he's there. Covered him already. Zodgrod Wartsnagger.
Orc Battle Fortress from Fortrad.
The truck. My favourite miniature is the truck because it's like the best kit ever.
It is the best orc kit, I think.
It's the best orc kit ever. It's detailed 360 degrees. It's modular the way it goes together, and you can turn it into whatever the hell you want to.
Same with the battle wagon now. The battle wagon's equally brilliant.
I'd say the truck's a bit better than the battle wagon in that regard, but yeah, the battle wagon's not far off.
You can build the truck in more ways than you can with the battle wagon. The battle wagon is it's much more like you can build the truck in a variety of ways without taking too much of a hatchet to it. Whereas with because I mean, like
a bit more work involved. Yeah.
Well, yeah. One of the things that I did with the truck kit was I reversed it. So like the front cab became the back, and then the back became the front, and
I think standard wise, the battle wagon's got obviously loads more options than that because it's got loads more options within the data sheets and stuff. And there's but the truck is probably certainly easier.
More modular kit.
Has just so many uses. But yeah, both kits awesome kits.
Most of our plastic vehicle kits, with the exception of the new buggies, are good. Yeah.
I like that. I think it was Nazgrub Wurzag, the Orc Prospector.
Oh,
the one with a big backpack on with, like, you know, it was hot. He's got a mining pick.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The big mech without the custom force field as well.
Yeah,
I've always had a real fucking hard on for that miniature. It's awesome.
It was quite a scrawny little orc. say looked like quite an old orc. It was a Gorkamorka miniature, and he had quite a long jaw as well, which fits kind of well with the Cromlech one. Yeah, I just loved that backpack. If I could get my hands on that backpack a few times over, I'd be chuffed because it's just such a valuable piece. Oh,
Thing is, we're
cool.
talking about Gorkamorka as well. I'll throw in the Gorkamorka Red Gobble.
Oh yeah,
he's good.
Infinitely superior to the new plastic one. Infinitely superior sculpt. It's far more better, and doesn't have a dumb Christmas theme either. Oh, that's just my salt. That's my salt. You know, I'm not trying to be too mean to people, but yeah,
it's all right. It's a Steve-O and Dim agree. There. You caught it on camera.
Because I mean, you know, people say, "Oh, you're overreacting." It's just like, yeah, tell me I'm overreacting when we get an Easter bunny a badding, right? Okay, when that happens with the bunny ears, you know, yeah, tell me, yeah, I'm overreacting. But until that time, you know, until your favorite nature is rendered in a stupid seasonal theme that is very difficult to remove, you know, yeah,
I like it. So.
Well, I was glad to receive one from Scar, and I actually I did what I think you can do with it, which is to make him look kind of Russian, because he's got like that jacket. So if you put one of them sort of snow sort of hats on him,
Yeah, he looks sweet, man.
It's beginning to look a lot like dim salt.
It surely is.
Are we ready? Are we ready to move on?
Yeah. We ready to move on 5 minutes ago, mate.
Essex Boys asks, have any of you ever attempted to get your other halves into wargaming? If so, how did it go? Are they interested in the hobby at all? We've talked about this a little bit, but yeah.
Not remotely interested. She feigns interest for my benefit. But no, not remotely interested. She's she had fun appearing on the channel, painting an Orc boy with me and that, but she's never going to want to play it.
Same.
Not particularly get into the hobby and painting side of it either. You know, she's got her own things her own interests. You know.
Same way, my missus has got plenty of other hobbies and stuff.
She supports me, but that's it. You know.
That's it. Support. Scar's a lucky one.
Yeah, I've started to. Me and my missus is mostly into like baking, so then she's taught me how to bake some stuff. So I make a mean apple crumble now. We've sort of cross-pollinated in that regard, and then she wanted to start painting miniatures, so we started buying Reaper Bones minis because they're mostly one piece. So like we'll buy the same miniatures now. This is like the Jabberwock or whatever. She doesn't have that one, but she bought some miniatures, and then I specifically tried to buy the same ones as her, so that we could paint them up together. So that's what we did. Is have a Behir, and she has a Behir, so I've painted my one up kind of red, and we paint them up at the same time, as a thing to do together. Like, but we're just having fun painting the miniatures. And for Christmas,
that's really cute. That is.
No,
it is adorable. And as an aside, Bones, great detail at a great price point. Very good mate.
Yeah, that was the thing where we're looking at the price point of them, and just the fact she's not interested in building a lot of stuff, and I don't think she's interested in playing the game, but she likes painting. So I got her like the army painter set. I remember, Steve-O, you did a review on that box set ages ago, so I got her that for Christmas, and like a wet palette and some paintbrushes and stuff. And then I bought her, she likes the Lord of the Rings. She really likes the Lord of the Rings, so I bought her the
good girl.
I bought her the Battle of Pelennor Fields as a Christmas present as well. So I'm like, there you go, that'll keep you busy for a good while.
That's
so,
a nice box.
Yeah, won't it just?
Good.
It's got some fucking minis in there, man.
There's a fair stack. I was saying it to her. I was thinking.
You said this is the girl that wasn't interested in building.
Yeah. I was like, oh, maybe buying her that many, that need assembling. So no, I don't know. She hasn't started to build them yet, but I don't mind like if she wants me to build them and then she wants to paint them or whatever.
You will be.
Probably. I don't mind though. But yeah, like I've gotten the missus into painting, but like if she doesn't want to play the game or whatever, that doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? We're just having fun painting stuff together.
I'll get her a Smaug or something at some point. It's not that, or a Balrog or something.
Well, was he like 500 quid or
He's
something?
a beast, isn't he? He's a beast. He ain't small.
Some
Yeah.
people have quite a bit of success with it, don't they? Like Broadsword. I went and met him and his missus, and she's become a big feature on his channel. She's really into it now.
You'd have to build that. You'd have to build that for the missus though, Scarf. You got the smog.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Resin.
I'd be wary of building it myself, let alone
Shit.
we're up to it. Jesus. No, baby steps. Dip the
Yeah.
toe in the water.
Maybe a
little
tree beard or something.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe you might see more Lord of the Rings on my channel. You never know. We'll see what happens.
So we actually need to call it now because we kind of overran. We did way longer than we were planning to. So we're going to do we've got a few more questions left, and we're going to answer those questions in the next episode, which actually is going to be far sooner than you think, because we are going to do a Christmas episode where we are going to talk about all the things that we want for Orkmas. We are going to talk about what we'd like to see coming forward for the next edition worth of Orcs, and talk about things, updating the Orc range, talk about things we'd like to see. And we'll also answer the remaining Q&A questions.
And we might wear a Christmas jumper or two.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm happy to host that one too. Like, if you could. You might have to, and you're allowed to. It's fine. Just tell me to shut up. But I might be on that episode. Yeah, I'll be all over it.
I think we kind of have to let him do it, don't we?
Yeah,
I can see the enthusiasm on him.
Never hear the end of it.
He's like a child at Christmas.
Cover him in Christmas.
The
Christmas decorations.
Dread was
But
actually
careful.
used in large part for inspiration for the movie Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't catch tinselitis there, though, Dread.
Very funny.
Right.
So yeah, we are going to end it here, and we will see you sometime near to Christmas. Until then, it's bye from Dim, the Hobby Git.
6+ Stevo signing out.
Enough said from Dread.
And don't forget to drill your barrels from Scarnier. Bye.
Whee!